It's my life, homie. You coming in here playing? I'm not playing, homie. I'm telling you right, I'm not playing.
So he's coming in.
You talking about?
He's coming to show respect.
This moment right here looks like a normal argument on the No Jumper podcast. Two people talking, Wack screaming, Adam 22 acting shook. Nothing we haven't seen before. But pay attention, because what you're watching isn't just a disagreement, it's a shift.
You think it's a game? I'm not playing.
A conversation.
My prediction is Cash McElroy Jones Sr. is going to crash No Jumper.
This is the story of a man who made his way online exposing rappers and street figures for being informants.
He shouldn't have did it. He said too much, did too much. There's no explanation for that. His brother called me.
And said what?
He ratted on him.
Not the wave god.
Whether they cooperated or not.
Take that motherfucking number on that document, and let's look at the document.
Having targets marked as rats and informants before they can even utter a word.
Rat or not, Young Thug,
Rat,
Gunna,
rat,
Woody,
rat,
T.I.
long tail rat.
Until one camp disproved every tactic scheme while simultaneously ripping off the mask of one of the industry's biggest cap.
It said, Wack is moving around with fake paperwork.
So the real question isn't what happened in this room, it's why this moment had to happen at all.
Ain't them.
I'm not trying to play with you. I'm not trying to threaten you.
Can't with me.
Because once the paperwork stopped working, something else had to take its place. And by the end of this story, you're going to realize this wasn't a one-off moment. It was a preview of a system that doesn't rely on truth anymore. It runs on something much more effective.
You're the biggest in hip-hop media, but you got to stop allowing Wack to use your platform to validate the f***ery that he's putting out. And I said, what are you talking about?
Damn, nigga. That's what I want to do.
This is the cap story of Wack 100.
You got cap in your raps. You got cap in your raps.
If you watch part 1, you already know how Cash Jones built the brand. Pacoima Pyru, Game and Blueface's manager who operated like he was the one that survived the streets, so his artists wouldn't have to. He definitely managed to turn that into authority online. Figuring out something early. If you position yourself as the man with answers, well, you never have to answer for anything.
Dead homies, I got to work.
The tool that made this possible was Clubhouse.
I got to work. On who?
There, he would create a cult-like following, becoming the face of it for black entertainment.
No problem with you, Wack. I ain't
Go Paul Root. I don't play with niggas like you. You don't play with me like that no more. And when I see you, don't act like you don't know why I ass out.
And Wack 100 treated that room the way a preacher treats a congregation that already believes.
18 rooms on Clubhouse that do a 24-hour rotation. The 100 side never shuts down.
His play became the paperwork guy, the one who supposedly had access to court documents, cooperation agreements, and sealed records that normal people couldn't touch.
As you listen, nigga, I ain't these little. When I get it, I got it. Hold on. Have you ever did an agreement with the government? No, bro. Whoever he may be. But what this questioning is, if you did some telling. So again, if you told and Snoopy told, that means both y'all got out. So what I'm going.
If Wack said he had paperwork on you, the burden of proof shifted. Not to him, to you. Similar to medieval times where if someone said you were a witch, well, the town would come to burn you. If Wack said it, it felt official.
No, they got the paperwork on it.
They ain't got no paperwork. That's make-believe. That's cartoon.
Didn't matter there's little to no paperwork involved with an elderly Pyru member screaming about it at 2 a.m. on an app. Which brings us to that question that really nobody was asking loud enough. Who exactly was Wack really dropping paperwork on? And where did he get this paperwork? And more importantly, where did it come from? The play Wack constructed was very simple. Step 1, the drop. A name gets mentioned in a room or on a platform. Someone Wack has access to, proximity to, or beef with.
You seen that work we put up?
Oh, who y'all talking about?
Three-figure Wack starts asking questions and people start searching. That's the ignition.
Oh, I know you ain't got a hold of this work. And you'd have went crazy.
Man,
all them. I got all the work. What?
On who?
Step 2, the narrative. Wack or someone in the circle starts connecting dots.
Hey, no bull Wack. I'm not gonna hold you like
real dots, fake dots.
You know, it be people saying certain things.
No, that. Nigga
Yeah.
Step 3, the verdict. Before the person named can respond with any real clarity, the internet has already convicted them.
He said he didn't tell. He said
You think so?
Definitely was snitch was.
Because on social media, a denial looks like guilt.
Wait, did it say he pled guilty to a RICO charge? It was
Right, yeah, that's what they said. Yes,
he told.
Yo,
when do you plead guilty to a RICO?
Now, run that formula through a few names and see how fast it takes hold.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
Gunna. After the YSL RICO case, Gunna accepted an Alford plea. He didn't admit guilt. He acknowledged the state had enough to convict him and took a plea deal to get out.
The guilty plea entered as what's called an Alford plea, where a defendant doesn't admit he committed the crime but acknowledges it's in his best interest to plead guilty.
Wack treated that like a press conference. He was the commentator, the analyst, and the judge simultaneously.
He shouldn't have did it. He said too much, did too much.
All while giving Young Thug a pass.
But I'm not gonna disrespect my man's name. I hope Thug would understand that. Now Gunna, I'll call him a rat.
Jay Prince, one of hip-hop's most powerful bosses, Wack moved on him like a chess piece, applying public pressure through narrative and nudging people toward his own conclusion.
Right? That ain't too hard to beat. The gun that he alleging your son gave him ain't the murder weapon. Why you doing all this yapping? What your mob ties mean? Tie everybody to it? You ain't supposed to do no hollering.
And then there was Max B, a name purely used by Wack 100 as a clout move, being the wave god was getting released.
His brother called me.
And said what?
He ratted on him.
Not the wave god.
Time goes by, Max get a time to, from like 80 to 20 or something like that. This when it comes to me. So we running it. We see where we got the paperwork because we found an appeal where he gave him the information on the chick. I get a call from prison. Pooh Sims, who are you? I'm Max B brother. Okay, what's up, man? What you want? He said, man, they was telling me this. What you think I need to do? I said, it's a sealed file there, bro. I said, whatever secret's in that sealed file.
Wack, you a piece of face and suck your own mother.
If you want to do it, let's see it. You went to jail for credit card fraud. You all.
At some point, the accusations stopped needing proof. They just needed an audience. And that's when it stopped becoming exposure and started becoming execution. And that's what made him dangerous. But everything goes good until it doesn't anymore.
Rat or not? Young Thug.
Rat.
Gunna.
Rat.
Woody.
Rat.
T.I.
Long tail rat.
Rollo.
Oh yeah, he told we got his work here, Rollo. So he's 12.
Charleston White.
Rat.
6'9".
Yeah, 6'9" tall.
Now, there's another layer of manipulation called controlled opposition. That's when you plot out your own opposition so you can control both sides. You've seen this many times from Wack. In fact, his crusade started partially on this tactic in 2019 during Mike Tyson's Hotboxing podcast, where it seemed his antics went a little too far for Iron Mike.
I'm in there with Mike. We in this little small ass room. It got to going one way, going the other way, man. And you know, it went the way it went. You know what I'm saying? So they recorded all that shit, man. That shit on his pod.
The problem with this is, basically, it seemed to be pure cat.
I'm not gonna call it a fight because you know what I'm saying? I listen, but I tried it and I did it, and he tried it and did it. I got a little closer than he got to me. I got to scam.
Eventually, the chaos stopped being content and started becoming real-life consequences. This day would come one night when an individual decided to show up to Wack's residence and let off.
Hey, homies, cut. Finna pistol cut crib on a day, homie.
Armed with a pistol, looking for cash.
Hey, now, come pop out, day, homies. On a day, homies, cut. We outside, pop out, nigga.
And if that looked like it was a one-off, it wasn't. Inglewood family member Jay Reed would have an issue with the narratives portrayed by Cash Jones by the way of the No Jumper podcast, where he and a few individuals would show up to No Jumper only to be beaten, stripped, and robbed by Loose Cannon while Wack watched.
So as me and Loose begin to speak, he says, hey, Jay Reed, see, this is where we have a situation where we need to see the spreadsheet for the network. As he began to say that, he calls Wack over there, and Wack begins to speak. Wack gets to showing me like, hey, man, you know, this is not what we're asking for. We need to go ahead and get that out. And as I get to looking, man, it just, and Rock, when I tell you this, man, it throws me all off guard because I wasn't aware at all.
Jay Reed will proceed to file a $50 million lawsuit while Wack would make sure to distance himself from Loose Cannon.
On his phone, Loose texting me. So Loose the one lured the nigga. So I shit, maybe him and Loose know each other. I don't know, you know.
Even know the nigga.
He told me that day, Loose got him and said, pull up, Wack wanna holler at you about some music. I don't even know what this talking about. Now I did the best I can. I put out an APB. I said, who got the watch?
Whose watch is that?
I guess this is dude watch. It's a fake Michael Kors.
I was gonna say that's it.
No, bro, listen, you know, you come get it or whatever.
I feel like this is not.
It was clear violence wasn't going to stop this monster. Then what was? Please do me a favor, if you really support this channel, apply pressure to that subscribe button and hype your boy up. There's a philosophical concept called the Overton window, where what's acceptable in public discourse shifts based on what gets repeated and normalized. Well, Wack turned that into an algorithm, perfectly aligning with the new form of media created by one who has a cap story of his own, DJ Akademiks. There would be room for one who, unlike the others, would base his entire persona on snitch cap. He contributes his part to the system that thrives less on truth and more on views. Which brings us to the moment that made all of this impossible to ignore anymore. The part where things didn't go as planned and Wack would get his snitch cap moniker. Jobina J.B. Brown, Tee Grizzley's aunt and manager, was killed in a drive-by shooting in July 2019. She was in the car with him. T survived. She didn't. Through his uncle, this woman helped raise Tee Grizzley and pretty much built his entire career. Months after that, his home in LA will be burglarized, where he would lose over $1 million in jewelry, basically losing the cornerstone of his career and $1 million in assets within months.
Border Ranch is the
Yeah,
hood.
that's where he was living at. That's what happened.
And right after that, Wack 100 shows up online joking about gate codes.
Three homies that deliver FedEx behind that gate. We got all them codes.
Wack was insinuating the robbery was an inside job, that T was somehow connected to what happened to his own aunt, so his house got robbed.
Yo, I'm about to call Tee Grizzley, man. Why they say he killed his auntie?
Before you know it, people started insinuating that Tee Grizzley and his aunt were intimate to connect the dots even more.
Yo, why they saying Tee Grizzley killed his auntie?
And then came the snitch lady, successfully executing step one with ease.
Well, I want to ask about the Tee Grizzley situation.
A man called Baby Shooter got pulled into the store.
Man, that told on it, man, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I highlighted a couple about the little situation, a little motivation, you feel me?
There were claims that T had been on a FaceTime call during or connected to events surrounding the shooting. Wack began circulating the narrative that included paperwork.
I mean, it's on. We can show it on the screen.
This is what we do know.
I don't really.
Cooperation documents suggesting Tee Grizzley was working with law enforcement.
So I know Baby Shooter, so it's like he been telling me for like a while. And I've been like, bro, unless you got something, I can't, what you want me to do? This is what we do know.
Okay.
Shooter got an ad charge. Now we gonna sit back and wait and we gonna see what happened.
Shout out to Wack too, though. Wack made it happen, though. Wack made it happen for real, though.
Shout out Wack 100.
Yeah. Oh, Lopez. Oh, look.
At that point, it didn't matter if it was true. It would be the internet that would help pull off steps 2 and 3.
I just ain't think that's about to go around trying to clear up because it is what it is. As far as like, you know, I ain't about to be. You can't entertain, bro, especially when it's absolutely nonsense. You see what I'm saying? But you do got a lot of motherfuckers though that go to the internet and think that everything they see is facts.
But this time, things wouldn't go as planned, as Wack 100 would lose all his credibility live on air on one of the biggest platforms he always uses to his disposal.
I don't know, but Tee Grizzley spoke to me and said, Ack, you're the biggest in hip-hop media, but you got to stop allowing Wack to use your platform to validate the that he's putting out. And I said, what are you talking about?
This would occur when Dogface, a respected street figure from Detroit, would make things clear.
It said, Wack is moving around with fake paperwork. I said, well, Wack said he will drop the paperwork, but I think he wants a bet of 50,000. That's what the conversation was in our last stream, right? Now,
went from telling everyone he had the real paperwork to taking wagers. Well, Dogface and others would quadruple this wager.
After talking with Tee Grizzley, they have sweetened the pot so much, it's going to be incumbent on Wack to drop whatever paperwork that proves that Tee Grizzley's a snitch, right? They were down to do Wack 100 one better. They said they're down to put up $250,000, and trust me, they showed me all the jewelry. They said we could back it in jewelry or we could back it in cash.
Tee Grizzley's camp had checked all boxes.
Take that number on that document, and let's look at the document.
Here it is. This is the document in question. We got it on the screen now.
Wack, what's the word with you?
Dogface, we got Wack 100 on the phone. I think he's prepared to take the $250,000 bet.
Paperwork ended up being fake.
But I do think that when you're bringing real harsh accusations, we should do a little bit of due diligence to see. And I tried to pull it up when he was on here. I tried to like look it up to say, let me see if I could pull this paperwork. I wasn't able to do it then. Again.
And just like that, a big portion of the snitch cap would be lost. At this point, Wack wasn't exposing narratives anymore. He was seeing how far they can go. And once that line got crossed, the tactics had to change. Because if people don't believe the paperwork anymore, you can't just accuse. You have to show something.
I just have some criticisms of the way that you operate within No Jumper, and I think that we could be on a united front and be better.
A new host steps into No Jumper and doesn't treat Wack like a boss. In fact, questions his intentions.
The way we operate, hey, listen, what I operate and who I got issues with, don't got nothing to do with you. You a square. You ain't.
Suddenly, somehow, he ends up on a podcast with Wack.
Hey. Please, I do not break up fights.
No way.
I don't break up fights. So y'all would just be in here getting down.
Oh, what?
I have my pod with you, Wack.
With white boys, homie.
I know, but I have no issue with no bloods anywhere because I'm a gang member.
You still a Mexican.
Especially from being from NorCal, you with nobody.
This shit is a motherfucking game?
Wack, come on.
You think this shit is a game, nigga? I'm not playing.
On the surface, this looks like the moment everything falls apart. Voices raised.
Nothing disrespectful to you.
Damn, nigga. So what I want to do?
Adam steps in, and the clip goes viral like it's supposed to.
I ain't them.
I'm not trying to play with you. I'm not trying to.
You can't fuck with me.
I get that.
Throw your shit up, nigga.
I get that.
Throw your shit up.
You don't got no shit, Wack.
Problem isn't Moose Man. The problem is the snitch cap doesn't hold as much weight. So this is what they have to do for views. But there was still one more layer to peel back, because all of this existed underneath something that made everything Wack had ever said about the street code ring completely hollow. And it had been sitting there in plain sight the whole time.
And I'll be at the big U trial too, where Wack 100 gonna testify. Ain't gotta be so performative. Bro, I ain't did nothing.
While Wack was building up fake cases, running plays with boxing champs, there was one building up a case of her own the whole time. When Kimberly Jones went public, not with rumors or he said, she said, all this would play out through divorce filings between the two.
This is Kim. This is his wife, Kim, walking away from the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Looked like she filed for divorce. And she's stating that Wack 100 was abusive to her. Wack 100 used to kick her ass.
Now, this isn't paperwork like where Wack is caught a case or Wack is allegedly working with them people. This is a different type of paperwork. This paperwork is dealing with his wife, I guess.
While Wack was online calling people out, he wasn't even planning in his own home, moving from place to place, chasing content, chasing moments. And if you really think about it, this lines up with everything you just seen, because a man that's living in chaos online definitely is not escaping it in real life. He's just continuing it. Because if the foundation isn't real, then what exactly have we been watching this whole time? People will begin to look up old clips to find patterns. Come to find out, the same thing he said T.I. was doing was snitching. He clearly implied he'd do it himself.
Now you coming out saying you told even though he was dead. Plead the fifth. I ain't getting on that wood, bro. I'm not getting on that wood by nothing in the world.
He knew then it was paperwork out there with him telling on somebody, whether that body was a living or dead body. Can we agree to that?
So this is where they say J Hood telling. Now remember,
The nigga's dead. He ain't in a coma. He ain't cuffed to a laid. He's dead.
He said
J Hood told him, I got PTSD. I just got shot 8-9 times. I saw a nigga with a gun and I reacted. But the nigga he's saying this about is dead. Dead. Listen, bro. If me and Baby Shooter together and I'm on a high-speed chase and I crack and I don't make it, Baby Shooter better tell him mother Wack took me. I begged him. Y'all know he crazy. He wouldn't let me out the car. I'm gone.
If you still don't get it, one well-known blood from No Jumper podcast, Munchie B, can spell it out for you.
And my prediction is Cash McElroy Jones Sr. is going to crash No Jumper.
Wack destroys people's careers.
I get that. Throw your shit up, nigga.
Crash. It just be finito. This man comes back on No Jumper on the Adam and Wack show with the man Wack. He returned to the crime scene with the man Wack. How you a victim and a suspect? And look, since you a police, you don't face no consequence. But guess what? Adam getting sued right as we speak for this.
And that's the real problem with a system like this. It doesn't end when the lie gets exposed. It doesn't stop when the truth comes out. It just moves on to the next name. Because if it fooled you once, it can fool you again. And if you've been paying attention, you already know who thrives in a system like that. The ones who don't just report the chaos, they control it. And that's where this story connects to something even bigger.